Chapter 5 of Meet Me Under the Mistletoe. Well, 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 Sabrina entered my house with the gusto of a sitcom character. Look what the cat dragged in. She took off her satchel and dropped it onto the floor with a dull thud. She's my best friend, but her entrance wasn't the most graceful thing you've ever seen. You came to my house, I corrected her, as I headed back to the kitchen to fetch the tea. I half expected Sabrina to come to my house with the proverbial tea with the intention of having it spilled. Take a joke. You're wound too tightly today. She marched into the living room and plopped herself on the couch. The stockings on the mantel swung in her wake. Let's see it. She extended her hand towards me, palm up. I dropped the letter, and her fingers snatched it up. I watched as she studied the contents of the paper with expert attention. She scanned the envelope, too. I watched with bated breath as she completed her assessment, awaiting her findings. Well, my eyes practically bulged out of my head in anticipation. I got nothing, she said, as she tossed the contents onto the coffee table, narrowly missing her piping hot chai tea. What do you mean, got nothing? You're the one who delivered it to me. Surely you figured something out. I quickly reached down and picked up the evidence. It would be just my luck if liquid spilled on it, ruining the cryptic message. Sabrina lifted the cup to her lips. There's nothing to tell you. She blew on the hot drink. There's no return address. She took a sip. The processing stamp is from here. She gulped with satisfaction. Whoever sent that letter likely lives in town. Again, I racked my brain and tried to think who would want me. Why not just take a chance and ask me out? Sabrina's signature laugh reverberated through the house. You're a bit fickle, she pointed out. Understandably, she corrected herself. If anyone else had said that to me, I likely would have slapped them. Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? I shot back at her. Touché, she nodded in my direction. She adjusted her peacock blue wool socks while getting comfortable. So, who has a crush on Dana who is too shy to say something to her directly? Always the detective, Sabrina busted out a pen and paper from who knows where. Let's start from the top. She listed some of my crushes from childhood, whom we at once ruled out. Then we moved on to a few guys who lingered a little too long at our table at the pub a few weeks ago. Who else could there be? Sabrina tapped her pen, deep in thought. Anyone come into the store an unusual number of times? I thought for a moment. Not really. Not really or no. Those are two different things. Sabrina was always so direct, to the point of annoying. No, my mind locked for a minute. I groaned, realizing that someone had made an unusual move today. Brian. Sabrina spat her tea out back into her cup. Really? I know, I rolled my eyes. Brian having a crush on me, chasing me around town, was a bit shocking. Sabrina sat silently for a moment. He's kind of cute, she purred. Well, that was even a deep reach, even for her. Does being kind of cute make up for the fact that he's dull? I didn't mean to be sharp with my comments, but Brian really wasn't my type. My best friend sat and stared at me blankly for a second. I couldn't register her thoughts. No, she whispered. I'd rather die alone in a cabin than listen to one more of his stories. Then why would you want to pawn me off onto him? I shoved her on the couch. Ruby lifted her head as if sensing danger. Maybe she was worried that Brian would add too much noise to our house if he started coming around. I don't want you to die alone. You're willing to die alone rather than be with him? You're right. I was just teasing you. Relax. She leaned over and picked up where we left off with the puzzle. I might not know the answer to your dating dilemma, but I'm damn good at finishing these puzzles. I smiled, enjoying the zany antics with my bestie. Yeah, that's enough for tonight. Let's finish this instead. After Sabrina left, I cleaned up, let Ruby out one last time, and headed to bed. As I sank into my bed, wrapping the covers up around my chin, a realization washed over me. Maybe it was Brian. Maybe he sent the letter. It made sense. Too shy to tell me how he felt, so he tried to cover up his true feelings in a boring conversation, and then he suggested we go on a date. I covered my face with my hands, trying and failing to shut out the thoughts in my head. Not him, please, anyone but him. I had damage control to do. Get Brian off my back and get out of his heart.